Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Luuk Swinkels. Welcome back to my course How to Compose Classical Music for Dummies. This is lesson 19 and today we will talk about secondary dominant chords. We will first revisit last week's topic as I always do. Then we will go over to the new function, secondary dominant, and I will quickly talk about how we can use secondary dominants to modulate from the major key to the relative minor key. So last week, I'm not going to go over in too much detail, but we learned a little bit on how we can create a simple melody based on a chord progression. We learned really simple way to be able to start creating music, but I will not go into detail this lesson. So we will go right into it. Secondary dominance. So in tonal music, it's all about tension and release. Tonal music is when we have a tonal center. When we go from 5 to 1, that means we have a sense of tonality. From a tonic function to a predominant to a dominant and resolves back to the tonic, which is our 2-5-1 progression or our 4-5-1 progression. It's both of these progressions are from predominant to dominant to tonic. In a major scale, the 5th and 7th scale degree has a dominant function and wants to resolve back to the 1 chord. But what if we want our music to resolve to another chord? A secondary dominant is a non-diatonic chord that does this. It resolves to any other chord except to the 1 chord. So let me explain this, alright? The dominant chord of C major is G major because it's the 5 chord, right? And the dominant of D major will be A major because again it's the 5. And the dominant of F major will be C because again it's the 5. So let's say we are in C major and want to have a strong resolution, but not to the C major chord itself, to the 1 chord, but to the 6th chord, to A minor. Well, how are we going to do this? Because we don't have any chord in the major scale that really wants to resolve to A minor. I mean, we can use G major from 5 to 6, but that's a deceptive cadence. That still G wants to resolve to C, not to A minor. So it does not really work. So how are we going to do this? Well, it's really easy actually. Dominant of A minor is E major because again it is the 5 of A minor. And in Roman numerals we write this as the 5 of 6 because that is exactly what happens. From C major, E major, A minor. E major is the 5 of A minor and it really has tension and wants to resolve, but not to the C major again, but it really wants to resolve specifically to A minor. So this might be a little bit difficult. So how do we exactly use this function? Well, we can create more tension. So you probably remember the 1-6-1 progression from our ear training, right? So which is from a tonic chord to a tonic chord, to a tonic chord, to a tonic chord, and to another tonic chord. And because we go from tonic to another tonic, back to another tonic, there is not really much tension, and it is really chill vibe. So let's listen to a 6, and a 1, 6, and back to 1. And we can add more tension, as you can see right here, to use this B major chord. The B major chord is the dominant of E minor. E minor, E, F sharp, G, A, B. It's the 5 of 6. And now we can create more harmonic movement into our 1-6-1 progression. As you can hear, and once again, you can probably hear it that there is now tension in this melody, in this progression. B, E, and a G, B to E, and back to G. So, and it is really important, I do not want to see this, alright? This is the mistake I made when I first heard it. I thought, oh yeah, well, I mean G, G, A, B, it is just a tree, but with big Roman numerals. That is the thing I thought, and I made that mistake for only 1 hour, I think. Then I discovered it was wrong, but I don't want to see this, alright? Because once we hear back, we can hear it one more time. The function of this B major chord is not to be in the G major key. Its function is, and it has only one function, and that is to specifically make tension to resolve to the 6th chord. It is the dominant of 6, it is the 5 of 6. And when we see 5 of something, 5 of 6, 5 of 4, 5 of 7, that means we have a secondary dominant. So we can also, when we see this, we know we have a secondary dominant. So it's also really good to have the information written in the correct way. It goes to E minor. Bum, 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 bum. So that's why I do not want to see 1, 3, 6, because that is wrong. That's not its function. I mean, B major in the key of G can be a tree with big Roman numerals, but that's mediant modulation. That's a bit way too difficult. I'm not going to talk about that. So it can also be used to modulate, and I want to give a really quick example. Let's go to one of my compositions, and it starts in A flat major, and it modulates to F minor, which is the relative minor, and it is based on a 2-5-1 progression. And there are a lot of like weird Roman numerals, just don't really focus on that too much. We have probably heard this progression before in a previous lesson, but I can't really remember. So we are still in a major key. And now we are going to modulate using 5 of 6. We build up tension and we go to F minor. And this creates, it's a bit difficult to explain maybe, but this creates, we already have tension. So instead of we start here with our minor key, we already one measure before we enter the minor tonality. We already have that, because we already have the secondary dominance, we already built up tension, and our ear will already know that we are going to something else. My ear will already know we are going to that minor chord, because of the tension from dominant to tonic. Let's say that is one way to use it, to modulate from major to its relative minor key. But I will not really go into too much detail, because using this and recognize all of the different forms so that we can use secondary dominance may be a bit too difficult. So when we are analyzing sheet music, that is mostly diatonic, but there's a couple accidentals in the chords, there is a high chance it is a secondary dominant, because a secondary dominant always is non-diatonic. It always has accidentals. So let's do an example. Next lesson will be a music theory test, so we will practice analyzing sheet music. And because this lesson is about secondary dominance, there probably is a secondary dominant chord in this example. So here we have an example I probably composed in like, I don't know, probably in 5 to 10 minutes. So can you analyze the sheet music below using Roman numerals? So I would like for you to pause this video, get some pen and paper, use the circle of fifths, and try this for yourself first, because it's always really important to do things yourself. So do you have an answer? Well, the first thing you always look for, and you probably have done this, is look for what key we are in. We are in D major because, well, ends with a D, 2 sharps, D major has 2 sharps, we even end with a D major chord. This is clearly in D major. So what are the basic diatonic triads? Well, we are major keys, so 1, 4, 5 major, 2, 3, 6 minor, 7 is diminished, which leaves us with these 7 basic diatonic triads: D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, and C sharp diminished. So let's see. This is 1, this is D major, above the gap A is 5, to some chord, to B minor, this is 6, to G, which is 4, then we go to 1 again, 5, 6, 5, 1. So this is what we have. And now that last chord, this F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. This is an F major triad, and this is our secondary dominant. It is the 5 of 6 because B minor, B, C, D, E, F. It's the 5 of 6. So this is the correct answer. We have a 1, 5, 6, 4 progression, but we have our secondary dominant to create more tension towards the 6 minor chords. And it repeats again with 1, 5, 5 of 6 to 6, and we end with a perfect cadence 5 to 1. So let's listen to this piece, so you can hear again how a secondary dominant sounds. And I hope you can hear that it creates tension. It is not part of the D major tonality. It really creates tension, and it is not part of D major, but it wants to be with the 6th chord. And that's why we are not notating this as the 3 major chord, but as 5 of 6, because that is exactly what this chord does and how this chord functions. So let's listen to this a second time. It's also to get this in your ear training part, so you remember how the 5 of 6, the 6, sounds like. So today we learned the last theory of this course, which sounds a bit weird, the secondary dominant chord function, and we notate it as the 5 of something, and it's used to create tension, also known as harmonic movement, to a chord other than the 1 chord. So next lesson will be the music theory test. So I would recommend you to watch the lesson again you found the most difficult. Or you can also compose your questions below and I will answer them in more detail. Or if you don't understand the topic that I've explained, I will explain it again, or maybe even make you a like private video with some new examples. I won't mind, alright? Because I really want you to be able to understand this. So if you don't know stuff, if you find analyzing sheet music really difficult, or if your ear training is really bad, or if you still are not really able to construct major 7 chords or anything, please let me know and I will help you with whatever I can. You can also join my Discord server to get a one-on-one conversation. So, but if you understand everything so far, or most parts, I don't expect you to understand everything 100%. Next lesson will be the music theory test, so you can test if you understand most of the stuff. So I will invite you all to lesson 20, to the music theory test on my course, How to Compose Classical Music for Dummies.